For weeks now, citizens of the Cherokee Nation have waited for a final decision on who would be the principal chief for the next 4 years. Following the June 25th election, challenger Bill John Baker was named the winner in unofficial election returns by just 11 votes. The current principal chief, Chad Smith, then asked for a recount.
Because in this instance, if you recall, on Saturday night at the close of the regular ballot count, I was leading, and something happened between 2 o'clock in the morning and 7 o'clock the next morning that I was trailing.
Within an hour after Smith's comments, the Cherokee Election Commission said the first results were preliminary, and the official count actually showed Smith winning by 7 votes. Baker then cried foul.
It is our understanding that a few of Smith's employees went into the room without anyone watching and came out with a different election outcome.
A charge that Smith addressed this week with video from a surveillance camera at the election headquarters that he says refutes the allegation. Throughout, Baker supporters turned election protesters fueled the rhetoric.
I don't really know how to talk about it without using the F word, actually. And for me, the F word is fraud.
The first recount showed Baker the winner by 266 votes. A week and a half later, a second recount showed Smith the winner by 5 votes.
And so we're very pleased that to demonstrate with hard numbers acknowledged by the side, the recount was fatally flawed.
Cherokees camped on the lawn outside their Supreme Court building, listening to the varying results and becoming increasingly frustrated with the system.
I think the Election Commission really has done a sloppy job. They have done a poor job, and they only have to do this every 4 years.
4 weeks after the election, no winner had been decided.
It's just disappointing that I think we can do better. I know we can do better as Cherokee people. We have in the past.
The failure to settle the issue of who heads the tribe also leaves a major Oklahoma business enterprise hanging in the balance. Ross Swimmer was the principal chief of the Cherokees from 1975 to 1985.
How important is the chief's job today?
It's extremely important. The chief today is the CEO of a major enterprise.
The former chief says profits from the 8 Cherokee gaming facilities in northeastern Oklahoma are providing the capital necessary to diversify the Cherokee economy.
We have a gross revenue from all sources of close to $1 billion. So it's a big business. And our businesses that we have acquired and that we have grown do business all over the United States. Our environmental company, Cherokee Resources, it is doing environmental business for the Corps of Engineers, for the Army. We're doing information technology work for federal agencies pretty much across the board, as well as private sector. We're heavily involved in the National Minority Supplier Development Council work, working with large Fortune 500 companies.
Swimmer says preserving and growing the Cherokee economy is the key to the tribe's future, which makes the stakes in this election even higher. Controversial tribal elections are not new. Swimmer remembers when he picked Wilma Mankiller to run as his deputy chief in 1982.
We start campaigning and I just get hammered. Some of my closest friends in the tribe, came to me and said, "Well, Ross, you can't have a woman running as a deputy chief. What if she became chief?"
Swimmer says some of his close friends turned on him.
In the election, it was extremely controversial. The same kind of negativity you see today.
Wilma Mankiller went on to become a celebrated principal chief, serving the nation from 1985 to 1995. Her successor was Joe Byrd. His contentious election led to a 4-year term that Swimmer calls one of the darkest periods in Cherokee history. The tribe's Supreme Court approved a search warrant to be executed at Chief Byrd's office amid allegations of misuse of tribal funds.
He then decided he would fire all the marshals, and by firing all the marshals, we didn't have any law enforcement.
Swimmer says untrained thugs took on the role of the Cherokee marshals, leading to this fight between the marshals and Chief Byrd's new law enforcement officers.
What we had in the Byrd administration was the failure of the executive to respect the autonomy of the courts and respect the law in the Cherokee Constitution.
Gail Ross is a self-described history buff. Ross makes the point that while the election is unsettled, there is a difference between how things were done years ago compared to today, in that the dispute is being dealt with according to Cherokee law. She acknowledges, however, it still isn't good PR.
And I see people commenting that, oh, they're just showing that Indians shouldn't have self-government. It makes me sad, because nobody said in 2000 and Bush versus Gore that, gosh darn, it just shows those Americans can't govern themselves.
Ross has a deep understanding of the history of Cherokee self-governance. Chief John Ross, who served from 1828 to 1866, was her great-great-great-grandfather.
This is Chief Ross's grandson, Robert Bruce Ross, and this is his youngest daughter, Anne, who is my grandmother.
It was Ross who led Cherokees on their treacherous journey to Indian territory known as the Trail of Tears. Chief Ross helped write the Cherokee Constitution, which established the tribe as a sovereign nation with self-governance and became the first chief elected under that constitution.
Chief Ross really created the expectations and the obligations and the duties of a Cherokee Nation principal chief. He saw the role as one of being a strong advocate for Cherokee rights and someone who could develop a vision for the future of the Cherokee Nation.
Ross believes that relying on words from the past may help their tribe see its future. She quotes from her ancestors' 1857 State of the Nation address.
If our rights of soil and self-government are worth the toils and struggles of the past, they are worth present defense. Years of trial and anxiety, danger and struggle have alone maintained the existence of the Cherokee people as a distinct community, and such must continue to be the case if we would discharge the debt we owe to posterity.